Hi guys, welcome back to another interesting video. In this video, you're going to learn how to transfer what you have drafted out to your fabric and how to transfer all your darts, all your points into the fabric. If this is what you're interested in, kindly hit on the subscribe button and turn on your notification bell as we move right into the video. So guys, to start with, I've gotten my fabric ready. So when you're obtaining yours, do well to get a very good fabric, the one that will withstand the pressure and will um, bring out the best in making the outfit. One tip in obtaining fabric for suit is that you have to get a material that is a little bit sturdy, not just a very light fabric. Like you can see, this one is a very sturdy fabric, and it must be something that will not fade easily. Okay, so I also got my suit lining. Nowadays, you will notice that people don't need suits that is very hot. So you need to get something very friendly to the body, and this is the best material for that. Then while obtaining your lining fabric, do well to also make sure that it is a contrasting color. For instance, this particular fabric is a light fabric, so when I'm getting my suit lining, I have to go for something that is contrasting, something that will bring out the beauty of the suit that I'm making, that will make it appealing to the person that is going to wear it. So this is the fabric, this is the lining for the project, and you can see that it has a touch of this particular color inside. So this is making it the best lining for this particular project. Another thing that I obtained was the fabric for my facing. So this is the fabric. I got a black fabric, just as you can see. Remember that we're trying to recreate this particular outfit. So when you are obtaining this black fabric, one thing that you need to know is that it should be a fabric that does not wash, like it does not bring out color when it comes in contact with water. So how to do this is, before buying the fabric, ensure to test run it, because this is actually a different color that you're going to make. Assuming it is a black or a very dark color that is close to black, I would have said, okay, any fabric that you get at all will not really bother it. But this particular one is not black, so any washing from this other side, like if the color comes out to stain this one, it will make the work look very bad. How you test the fabric is, just get a white fabric, anything white, like a handkerchief, and ensure to get your water. Like, just literally pour some water on it like this. I'm just assuming you are going to the market to buy it, so just pour some water on it. Then you can use this watery part to scrub on the fabric. Scrub it very well, like very hard. And now you can see, upon all the scrubbing that I made, no stain is found on it. So if you see any stain on it, know that this fabric is going to wash and it's not fitting for this project. So what you're going to do, okay, before then, let me just show you how it is like. Let me see if I can get a fabric that is washing. Okay, so like this other fabric, let us just do the test run again. So I'm going to still pour some water on it like this. So I'm soaking this handkerchief with water now. Then I'm going to scrub it the same way I did on this other one. So you can see now, look at the stain there. It is dirty, you can see that. So this is an evidence that this particular fabric will not and cannot be fitted for the project. So this really fits the project because it is not washing. It is not bringing out colors. Okay guys, so let's proceed now. So here with me are the pattern papers that I obtained from drafting. If you've not seen how I got this, check the description box or the comment section. You're going to get a link to the video on how I drafted this particular outfit. So do well to check out before we continue if you did not see the video. So what I'm going to do now is that I will actually spray out my fabric on fold. Okay guys, so I have sprayed out my fabric on fold like this. I folded it into two. You can see this clearly. This is 1 2. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut precisely what I have here on the pattern, starting from the back panel. do well to place some wedge on it so as not to allow that your pattern to move. So permits me to use this iron as my wedge. So guys, you can see what I have here. I've gotten precisely just the shape now. So I'm going to do that in each of the panels. So this is just the back panel. When I'm done, I'm going to show you what it is like. This is the front panel. So I'm going to cut it now, starting from the down part. While drafting, you could recall that I did not cut this part out. So I wanted to do that on the fabric. So I'm going to rightly trim off this darts like this. So you can see I have rightly trimmed off this part, and I'm going to also trim the side off like this, from here to here to here. So guys, you can see that I've gotten this dart out of the way and this particular one also out of the way. So do well to get yours out of the way too, and then move into the rest of the fabric. So guys, at this point I'm done with the cutting. You can see I have everything precisely the way it is. You can see in here the back panel, the side panel, the front panel, and all the panels, just precisely what I have. Let me show you through. Okay, so this is the back panel, this is the side panel. You can see this is the front panel, and this is the upper sleeve, then the lower sleeve. So now we're going to move over to another thing. You know, most of the times you really don't need to dirty your fabric. Like if you're working with the clean linen, you're working with a clean fabric, you don't need to really dirty it by marking chalks up and down, irrespective of if the chalk is a kind that will clean off. But you can still maintain the dignity of your fabric by using this particular thread and needle. And how do you do that? Just go ahead and transfer all your markings using the thread and the needle. For instance, you really do not want to stress yourself when it comes to locating where your seam allowances are. So all you need to do is just move over to that allowance and pick a little piece of it using this thread and needle. Then when you are done, allow some part of the thread to remain in the fabric until you are done sewing. So actually you can do that even in your hemming allowance, that when you are trying to hem it, you do not need to go over measuring it again and again, and this will give you precisely what you really drafted. Okay, so in this aspect, I really do not need the threads in all these parts, because I am already working with it over and over, so I know where to stitch, where to start the stitches, where to stop the stitches. So these are the points that I'm just literally going to mark out. For instance, in this part, where do I really want my slit to stop? I measured 7.5 inches up, so this is the point here, 7.5 inches up. So I'm going to transfer it over to this other side. 7.5 inches, and this is where it is. Now from here to here should be half of an inch, so that is what I have. So this is the point actually that I want my slate to stop, so this other part will not be needed. So I will come over to this other side also and trace down the same point, 7.5 up, and then I'll now mark the half inch away. This is where it is. So that is exactly where my dart is going to stop. So when I'm matching my fabric, I will ensure that this point meets up with this point, and this is where everything is going to be. Okay, so I have to pick up my needle and thread, and then insert in that point, because I don't want to mark anything on the fabric. Push it out like this, you know. So after pushing it out, this is what I have here. So I'll still drag it out a little, and then I'm going to trim it a little here to have it form edges, then opening it up on this side to the back side. I'll cut it out like this, and then open it up a little bit like this and still cut it out. All right, so make sure that you trim it so that nothing can pull it out mistakenly. If you leave it too long, something may pull it out, so you have to trim it down a little. So I'm taking my time to show you this actually. So I've gotten this particular point, and that remains where my slit will stop. Then coming over to this other side, I will do the same thing. Pin it down here, drag it out. When I notice that it's getting to the end, get my pattern paper out of the way. Then open it to this other side, cut it out, open it a bit, and then cutting it like this. And I'll still have to trim off some parts. So that will remain inside the fabric until I'm done with making of the slit before I pull it out. Okay, so you can do so with even your hemming allowance like this if you wish. If you don't want any stress when trying to create your hemming allowance, so just go ahead, pin it up like this and do the same. But I'm not going to waste my time in this other side because I know that my hemming allowance is 2 inches and it's easy to locate it since it is close to the edge of the fabric. So always make sure that you trim off this side very well, the back side very well, so that it will be easy for you to pull it off. Then another thing is that you have to use contracting thread. This is a navy blue thread. You can also use a black thread. Then if it is a light colored fabric like this, you are using a dark colored thread. That's contrasting thread that you can locate easily. That out of the way, this is where I want the work to be done majorly on, because the front panel is as important as anything else. The rest you can still locate that, but this particular one you really need to, you know, mark it out. So I'm starting from my pocket end here. This is where I marked for the pocket to end. So I'm definitely going to pin it up like this, then drag it out like this, and I'm getting to the end of it. I'll cut it out. Okay, another thing is this point here where I want my button to fall. So I'm going to measure 1 inch from the edge. This is 1 inch. All right, so this is what I'm gonna do now. I'll cut it out like that. Then make sure that the pattern is always on point before you pin. Okay, I'm done with this, and now I'm going to mark my dart end where my dart is going to stop. Then I pin it down, the same thing. Okay, so to this line here, I'm not really going to pin it at this line, but I'm going to pin it half of an inch away from this line. Why I'm pinning it half of an inch away from this line is because we are going to stitch it by half of an inch round it. So I really need to shift it inwardly by half of an inch here, so that when I finish stitching it, it will fall in place. So I'm going to pin it down here like this. Every pinning, ensure that your pattern is placed well on the material. Okay, now to the pocket, where the pocket is going to start. I'm going to pin it here and here. So now I am done. Let me get these patterns out so you can see what I have here. Okay, so you can see all these threads. So don't get confused. This is for that. This is for the pocket. This is for the button. This is for the lapel. Straight down here is for the lapel. And this is the pocket ending, pocket starting. So you may use different thread colors if you want to make it easier for you to understand. While pinning along this axis, you may use a different thread color. Then for the button, you may use a different one. Then for the that end, you may still use a different color. Then for the pockets, you can use a different color. And for this particular that pocket beginning, you may also use a different color. So this will help you to be able to identify which of this is which. Okay, so let me just go ahead and separate them. So having done that, I'm going to trim this down so that nothing pulls it out. So guys, before now, I used to consider it as a waste of time to pass through this process. But when I started doing this, applying this method, I really realized that this is the best for now, for me, because it makes my work easier and faster, more accurate and precise when I'm working on the fabric. So guys, so far this is how far we can go for this video. Remember, I don't want us to take so many lessons at a time. So I want you to digest them step by step. And in the next video, you're going to learn how to go about cutting the linings and the facing. So for me now, it's a bye-bye. See you in the next video.